New Bern, North Carolina, and this is what it looks like. 10 feet of storm surge has inundated the area, and of course you've got the rain falling as well. Flooding is the rule, not the exception.
That's right, and just listen to just the winds howling. You start to see that water begin to rise. This is New Bern. This is where we've already seen upwards of 7 inches of rainfall already, and the water levels, at least on the rivers, have rise upwards of about 10 feet. And we have more video coming your way of just what happened over the last couple of hours here. That is the water rising there, and you can actually see some activity out in there too. Yeah, look at that. That's probably the middle of the street, and you have a couple of ducks out in the middle there. That is water that's riding 2 rivers adjoin there, and we're already seeing a lot of houses are being flooded. We're just beginning a very dangerous several hours ahead.
And unfortunately, we've had 200 people that have needed rescue. They're still in the midst of those rescues, most of those people in their home, as the water continues to rise ever higher due to the storm surge. Welcome back to our continuing coverage. I'm Nick Walker.
And I'm meteorologist Todd Bork. It is all about Florence. And this is something that when you look at Florence on radar, it's still offshore, but I have a feeling it's going to be offshore for at least a couple hours. Even if it tries to make landfall, it may not push all the way in the land all the way. And another thing that keeps popping up,
the effects are a long way from shore.
Absolutely.
Look at this, tornado warnings, which sometimes happen whenever you have landfalling tropical storms and hurricanes. They interact with land. You get that friction going. You get, as a result, the possibility of a rotating thunderstorm. But these are usually pretty quick.
And that's something we saw with Gordon. Same type of thing we're seeing right now. Tornado warning in effect for Halifax and Nash counties until 3:45. Again, real quick movers. You have that circulation in there. Still going to have to take cover, and we're starting to see that little couplet there right at the very end. So the National Weather Service must have picked it up right at the very end there. Let me just move over here and turn that off. And that couplet is certainly there. Again, a spin up. Take cover immediately, and you're thinking, well, wait a minute, we're not even anywhere close to the storm surge. We're not anywhere close to any of the tropical storm warnings, but this is what happens with hurricanes.
And if this continues to progress even outside of the warned area, which it very well could, we're going to be to Centerville by 3:32, by Gold Sand at 3:37, Lewisburg at 3:47, and Franklinton by 3:57. So downstream of this tornado warning, you need to be aware of the possibility of a tornado quickly spinning up.
And also, we're starting to see the activity a little bit farther to the north. So just don't let your guard down for areas a little bit farther off to the north. Now, let's get to where the action is. And we are looking at Wilmington, North Carolina. Here's a live look outside. Those winds, sustained winds over the last hour or two have been creeping over that 40-mile-an-hour range. In fact, the last observation I saw was about 44-mile-an-hour sustained winds, Nick. And now we're starting to see gusts upwards of 71 miles an hour.
So getting very, very close to hurricane strength, and will likely get into that hurricane threshold very, very soon as the eye slowly makes its way inland. Last report we had this moving at about 6 miles per hour at to the west-northwest, and so that's what we're going to find as this slowly makes its way inland. There's Wilmington, there's the eye of the hurricane, and of course we've got all that rain around the eye wall in addition to the winds, and the rain continuing to cause the flooding potential too.
And you notice with all the flash flood warnings that are out for all the counties that are shaded here, notice we still have more rain bands coming your way, so there's no break here. This hurricane's not going to just work its way on through and then you finally begin to dry out. There's nothing dry about this forecast for the next several hours, maybe for the rest of your Friday.
The forecast is actually calling for about 9 inches of rain on Friday, another 10 inches of rain on Saturday before things finally begin to calm down.
That's right. So the center of circulation here is right here. The center of circulation about 36 miles, at least the center of the eye, about 36 miles from landfall. But that is not where the worst conditions are. It's actually the rotation of that eye wall around there. So we're starting to see those winds begin to pick up, and that's why Wilmington may start seeing that eye wall sometime soon.
Yeah, Wilmington seeing gusts now to 62 miles per hour. There's that 46 mile per hour sustained wind. Just offshore, we've got a buoy here that is reporting a 72 mile per hour wind gust, but that is actually away from the center. So, you know, even away from the center, a long way from the center, we've got near hurricane force winds.
That's right. So the bigger perspective here, hurricane warnings are all shaded in purple here. All the counties along the coast for North Carolina, extending into South Carolina, a little bit farther farther inland now. We also have tropical storm warnings. Look at Raleigh. You're in that tropical storm warning, so those sustained winds could easily exceed 39 miles an hour. We're talking sustained winds, so trees could be down, power outages, especially if you see a lot of rainfall, and that's expected for Raleigh.
And it may not even take very much wind because we're going to have so much rain
right.
that it could actually loosen up the roots.
That's it.
Topple trees with winds even below that threshold.
That's right, because in the southeast and the Carolinas, you have a lot of shallow-rooted trees. It's very warm and humid, so the trees grow very quickly. Storm surge warning, this is going to be a big thing, particularly through the rest of your Friday as well. So lots to worry about, and we'll talk a little bit more about that forecast of where the storm's going to be going when we go a little bit ahead.
We'll continue our live coverage 24 hours a day with the crews in the field and the experts in the studio.